Hello, everybody. Mike Welsch coming to you from Churchill Downs with the Daily Racing Form Kentucky Derby Clocker Report, brought to you by the great folks at Spendthrift Farm. In contrast to the last several days, very busy here this morning. Partly the reason for that being the rain that's in the forecast for Saturday. Several trainers moving up their work, specifically the Derby workers from Saturday to Friday. Not all of them. We'll still saving a few good ones for tomorrow. But we were really busy today. The Clockers were really busy today. The Clockers tab this morning, almost 200 horses on the tab this morning, including, I believe, 8 Derby workers and about 7 or 8 Oaks workers as well. Started right at 5:15 when the track opened. We had 2 Derby workers, 2 Oaks workers. I'm going to talk about the Derby workers. The first one was for Mark Casse. Helium went out in company with the stablemate Lake Mambo. Helium had Julian Leperoux, his rider, regular rider, up aboard. And it was just a maintenance work this morning. 4 furlongs in 49 and 3 or 4. Pulled away about a length and a half at the wire, opened up 3 lengths in the gallop. I thought he looked good, had plenty of horse, did it easily, wanted to do more. But again, that's all he needed to do. He had his big work last week out of the gate, if you remember. So Helium, just a maintenance work early this morning. Keep me in mind, he's still on the outside looking in. I think he's 2 or 3 spots down on the AE list. He had a really fast work this morning. In company, broke 5 lengths behind a mate, came up inside, got even turning for home, and then held a slight edge to the wire, but went 22 and 2 for the first quarter mile, 46 to the wire under some moderate pressure, and then drew away, went 59 and 2, 112 and 3. So put a little speed in him today. Not quite sure he's going to make it into the race, but pretty good move for Keep Me in Mind this morning. Most of the action, the Derby action, came after the break at 7:30 during that special Derby Oaks session. A lot of Derby workers, a lot of Oaks workers. I'm just going to talk primarily about the Derby workers here on our DRF workout video. You can get the full report later online at DRF.com. But the first team to go was a familiar team. We saw them last week, Known Agenda and Saintwood. Jockey Irad Ortiz actually flew in last night to take his regular seat aboard Known Agenda for the work. He was on the inside, Sainthood on the outside. They were pretty well matched all the way around. I thought Sainthood was actually going easier of the pair down the stretch. They won 5/8 in a minute and 4 off a 35 and 4 3A split, and then went out willingly 13 and 4, 127 and change. With, again, I thought maybe Sainthood holding the edge most of the way. Right at the end, Known Agenda maybe stuck his head in front or was going a little easier. Both galloped out well. Looking for that big work with the blinkers on for Known Agenda. Well, we haven't seen it here. He's really not an outstanding workup. We've already talked about that. So if you like him going into the Derby off his paper, I don't know if you're put off by the fact that he isn't working as strong as some of the others, or it's just he's maintaining, that's him, then that's a decision we're going to have to make when we go to handicap the race. Next came Caddo River, one of the 3 Brad Cox horses in this year's Derby. He's going to work the other 2 tomorrow. Decided to work Caddo River today. He was a little headstrong early on. He's got a lot of speed. He was eager to go. He went quick early, finished up a half mile in 48, going in company with stablemate Warrant. Galloped out okay, nothing special here, 1 minute and 4/5, 114. Again, he's going to be the pace setter in the Derby, so not surprising to see him, being in that headstrong mood. He had Florent Giroux aboard, his regular rider, this morning. The next worker for Todd Pletcher was Dynamic One, went in company with Prime Factor today instead of Bourbonic. Bourbonic went a little bit later on, and I thought Dynamic One maybe the best work of the morning as far as the Derby horses go. We liked them. I liked them last week. I liked them again today. Broke off about a length and a half behind. I believe it was Jose Ortiz also flew in and was aboard. Went 24-48 for the half, pulling even at the wire, then galloped out strong like he did last week. 1 minute and 2/5, 13 and 3. Bourbonic Dynamic One was second to Bourbonic in the wood. But workout-wise, he seems to be doing much better. He's had a very good week and a half since he's been here. So those of you looking for one of the long shot plays in here, I would say Dynamic One might be moving forward into a good position for Derby Day. Mark Casse also had his other Derby workers, Soup and Sandwich, out this morning. A similar work to Helium. It was a maintenance work by design, but he was very, very headstrong early. We've talked about how Soup and Sandwich isn't the prettiest mover in the morning when he gallops, but he sure looked good today again when he works a different animal out there. And he went well, did what he had to do, 24-3, 50-1. Don't worry about the time. He was kept out in the middle of the racetrack, was wide into the turn on the gallop out, went out in 103-3. He looked like he was ready to do more, could have done more if they let him. So Soup and Sandwich, just a maintenance work today. The other last two Derby workers came after the 9 o'clock break. Bourbonic going solo today. Trainer Todd Pletcher said he didn't want to put him in company this morning because he thinks he's been a little bit too keyed up the way he's been galloping during the week. So didn't want him to do too much. Had him go solo, and he went an easy half mile, 24-3, 49-2, galloped out in 2-4. Nothing flashy, just fine. He was totally outworked by Dynamic One in company last week. And the final worker was Hosier for trainer Bob Baffert. He's the first AE sitting outside, needs one scratch to get in, but I'm going to guess after his work this morning, trainer Bob Baffert might just decide to forget about it. I just really didn't like his work today. He struggled along, went 5/8 and 102-4 to the wire, had to be asked to finish, and then was put under a right-hand stick to complete the 6 furlong work in 116 flat. So we'll see what happens, but I'm going to guess maybe they'll throw out the white flag on Hosier today, and that'll give a couple other horses a shot to get in if there is one declaration. Hosier was 21st. I think Light Fury is the next to get in if there is a scratch, and Hosier indeed does not go. Just going to briefly mention the Oaks workers. I'll write more about them online later and for the paper. But I thought Travel Column was really impressive this morning. Went very early for trainer Brad Cox. Went a half mile in 48, but then galloped out 5 furlongs in 1 minute and 2/5. Went in company with a stablemate called Astralasia, and she was very impressive too. She's not running in the Oaks, but she is a stakes winner. She was very good. She kept right up with Travel Column all the way. An easy work for both, an impressive work for Travel Column this morning. After the break, Malathat went for trainer Todd Pletcher, 4 furlongs, 48-1, galloped out in 1 minute and 4/5, easily drew off from her company. She looked good, not terrific, not great, but I mean she looked very good out there. She's had a pretty good week. And then search results for trainer Chad Brown. Not a fast work. It was definitely a maintenance work. It was a typical Chad Brown work, but she kept pretty starry company today. She went with Dunbar Road. They went slow early, finished up well in 50-2, galloped out extremely well in 102-4. So we're going to put an M next to search results too, but looked good in her breeze this morning. One more I do want to mention, the final work of the Oaks that I want to talk about. It was a pretty good one. Not so much for Coach, who is in the Oaks, but for her stablemate, Adventuring, who is not going to run in the Oaks. They went a half mile, 47-3, went out in 105-3 with Adventuring, much the best of this team. So she's a horse to kind of look forward to wherever she may show up, whether it's Derby weekend or somewhere else down the line. So that's a pretty quick synopsis of what happened here this morning. Again, too many workers to talk about them all. But it was a fun day. It was a busy day, and we're looking forward to tomorrow, Saturday. Hopefully the rain will hold off just long enough that we can get these important Derby works in, especially the Brad Cox duo of Essential Quality, the Derby favorite, and his stablemate also. And I'm trying to think who else. Highly Motivated, also scheduled to go tomorrow as well. I think we'll see Light Fury. So still plenty of Derby action to report. So keep it right here, DRF.com, for the best coverage of Kentucky Derby, Kentucky Oaks 2021.